first celebrity in the spotlight tonight is the dancer Wayne Sleep.
That was fearless. You've known no fear at all. You threw each other around the floor.
His subject is the choreographer and director Bob Fosse. Next, the television presenter Yvette Fielding.
Can you please tap loudly if you can hear us now?
Her subject, Henry VIII. From Radio 1 and 5 Live, Spoony.
It's been a busy old day of football, and if you're at one of today's games, let's hear from you.
His subject is the life of Ray Charles. And finally, the art critic, Brian Sewell.
If you say, name an artist to a total stranger, he's more likely to say Leonardo da Vinci than anything.
His subject is British motor cars from 1930 to 1950. Hello, I'm John Humphreys, and welcome to another celebrity version of Mastermind. Unlike other shows with celebrity in the title, there will be no swimming in rat-infested waters or being locked in a house with Vanessa Feltz. It is far more daunting than that. 2 minutes in the black chair, answering questions first on their chosen subject and then on general knowledge. And on this show, the fees go to charity. Let's see how they get on and ask our first contender to join us, please.
Oh.
And your name is?
Wayne Sleep.
Your chosen charity?
The Wayne Sleep Foundation.
And your chosen subject?
Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse in 2 minutes, starting now. In which city, later the setting for one of his best-known musicals, was Bob Fosse born in 1927?
Chicago.
Correct. Fosse began his professional career around the age of 12, tap dancing as part of which duo alongside Charles Grass?
The Riff Brothers.
Correct. Fosse performed Who's Got the Pain in the film version of Damn Yankees with his third wife. What was her name?
Gwen Verdon.
It was. For which 1954 musical did he win his first Tony Award for choreography?
Pajama Game.
Correct. In 1974, Fosse directed a film about a controversial comedian. What was the title?
Lenny.
Yes. Fosse made his Broadway debut in January 1950 in a show that closed after only 35 performances. What was it called?
Pass.
According to Martin Godfrey's biography, what illness, from which he suffered throughout his life, did Fosse blame on a head injury that occurred after he fell from a horse?
Epilepsy.
Yes. What's the name of the main character played by Roy Scheider in All That Jazz, the film based on Bob Fosse's life and career?
Joe Gideon.
Correct. Which dance school run by Fred Weaver did he attend as a boy, initially going along with his older sister, Pat?
The Chicago Academy of Theatre Arts.
Correct. Fosse and the dancers that he choreographed often wore gloves and almost always which other accessory?
Sorry?
Fosse and the dancers that he choreographed often wore gloves and almost always
hats.
Which other accessory? Hats is correct. Which psychiatric clinic, a division of New York Hospital, did he check into in May 73 because of his severe depression?
Pass.
In the film version of The Pajama Game, which ensemble song and dance includes the line jump in fences, climb in trees, and was reworked by Fosse for an outdoor location and shot in a park?
Pass.
With which Hollywood film studios did he sign a contract, although he left after working on only 3 films, including Kiss Me Kate in 1953?
MGM.
Correct. Gwen Verdon played the lead in the original stage version of Sweet Charity. Who played the part in the 1969 film?
Shirley MacLaine.
Correct. Whom did he cast to play the male lead opposite Liza Minnelli in Cabaret, in spite of initial misgivings about him from a number of people involved with the project?
Michael York.
Correct. With which of the armed forces did he tour the Pacific in 1946 as part of its entertainment division?
The Army.
It was actually the Navy.
Oh, God.
You had 3 passes. The song in The Pajama Game was Once a Year Day.
Ah, yes.
Payne Whitney was the name of that psychiatric clinic, and Dance Me a Song was the show in which he made his Broadway debut. Wayne Sleep, 3 passes, 12 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Yvette Fielding.
Your chosen charity?
The NSPCC.
And your chosen subject?
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII, in 2 minutes, starting now. At which royal palace was Henry born to Henry VII and Elizabeth of York in 1491?
Greenwich.
Correct. Henry became the heir to the throne at the age of 10 after the death of his elder brother. What was his name?
Arthur.
Yes. Off which harbour in the English Channel did Henry witness the sinking of his flagship, the Mary Rose?
Portsmouth.
Yes. Who was Henry's principal minister from 1515 to 1529, wielding such authority that it was said he rules both the king and the entire kingdom?
Cardinal Wolsey.
Yes. What name was given to the Battle of August 1513, so called because of the haste with which the French fled the field?
Battle of Spurs.
Yes. The young Henry's first tutor, who was praised by Erasmus for his pupil's learning, was which poet and priest?
Pass.
Which gentleman of the King's Privy Chamber was executed on the grounds of intended, if not actual, adultery with Henry's fifth wife, Catherine Howard, who was also beheaded?
Pass.
The long-drawn-out issue of Henry's divorce from Catherine of Aragon, which lasted for years, became known as the King's Great what?
Pass.
Which lawyer led the uprising in Yorkshire against Henry's religious policies known as the Pilgrimage of Grace and wrongly trusted Henry to address their grievances?
Thomas More.
Robert Aske. Henry was not taken with Anne of Cleves' looks at first sight. By what unflattering name was he later popularly thought to have called her?
Very ugly.
Flanders Mare. Who was the mother of Henry's second daughter, Elizabeth, the future queen?
Anne Boleyn.
Yes, the series of meetings between Henry and Francis I in 1520, known as the Field of the Cloth of Gold, took place in a valley halfway between the English-held town of Guisnes and which French town?
No idea. Pass.
Which of Henry's ministers, immediately before he was beheaded in 1535, stated that he died the king's good servant, but God's first?
Thomas Cromwell.
Thomas More. What was the occupation of the famous Will Somers, who served Henry for many years with his merry prattle?
No idea. Pass.
By whom did Henry have an illegitimate son, Henry Fitzroy, in 1519?
Elizabeth Blount.
Elizabeth Blount is correct. And your pass is, the occupation of Will Somers was court jester. Ardres was the other town that I was looking for. It was the King's Great Matter. Thomas Culpeper was the gentleman of the King's Privy Chamber, and John Skelton was the young Henry's first tutor. 5 passes. Yvette, you have 7 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Spoony.
Your chosen charity?
Leukemia Research.
And your chosen subject?
The Life of Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, in 2 minutes, starting now. In which town in Florida did Ray Charles Robinson live as a child with his mother, Ratha?
Greensville.
Correct. When he was 5 years old, Ray witnessed the death by drowning of his younger brother. What was his name?
George.
Yes. Who was Charles's first serious girlfriend with whom he ran away to Miami before returning to Tampa to set up home?
Louise.
Yes. Charles gave what name to the publishing company that he formed when he signed to ABC and also later to his record company?
Crossover.
Tangerine. In 1987, he established the Ray Charles Robinson Foundation to help those with what kind of disorders?
Hearing.
Yes. What name did he give to his female backing singers who were originally known as the Cookies?
The Raylets.
Yes. What musical instrument was given to the teenage Charles by Henry Johnson following a collection by his social lodge?
Clarinet.
Yes. Which agency based on Fifth Avenue in New York took him on in 1951 and secured him a contract with Atlantic Records?
Cecil Shaw.
No, the Billy Shaw Agency. In 1947, which band leader told Charles he ain't good enough, which motivated him to practice harder?
Pass.
What is the name of his first-born child, a daughter born to Louise in 1950 after the couple had split up?
Yvette.
Evelyn. In which Florida town was the school for the deaf and blind which Charles attended for the first time in October 37, just after his 7th birthday?
St. Augustine's.
Yes. In the 1960s, Charles gave financial support to which civil rights leader whose funeral he later attended in Atlanta?
Martin Luther King.
Correct. In Seattle, he met which songwriter and producer who later wrote the theme to the film In the Heat of the Night for him?
Quincy Jones.
Correct. Charles performed and acted in which 1980 comedy musical film directed by John Landis?
Blues Brothers.
Correct. What was the name of the owner of the Red Wing Cafe who first encouraged him to play the piano and who Charles had said was his biggest musical influence as a kid?
Wiley Pittman.
Yes. By what letter did he call his second wife, Della, whom he married in 1955 but divorced some 21 years later?
B.
Yes. Charles went to see which Viennese-born psychiatrist to help him kick his heroin habit?
Hacker.
Yes. Which of the original Raylets was the mother of his son, Charles Wayne?
Martha Hendricks.
Close. Margie Hendricks. You had just one pass. Lucky Millender told Charles he ain't good enough. One pass, but 13 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Brian Sewell.
Your chosen charity?
Mayhew Animal Home.
And your chosen subject?
British motor cars between 1930 and 1950.
British motor cars in 2 minutes starting now. Which classic car that made its appearance in 1948 was described by Lord Nuffield as looking like a poached egg?
Pass.
Which tractor manufacturer took control of Aston Martin in 1947? The first car under his ownership went into production the following year.
David Brown.
Correct. In 1948, Vauxhall Motors introduced 2 new models, the 4-cylinder Wyvern and which larger 6-cylinder model?
Velox.
Correct. Who designed the 3-wheeler minicar with no opening door built by Sharp's Commercials at Preston that first went on sale in January 1949?
Pass.
The 1933 Bentley 3.5-litre sports car, which was the first Bentley made by Rolls-Royce, was promoted with what slogan?
The silent sports car.
Yes. Which company supplied the major components of Allard cars, the first of which went on sale in 1946?
Ford supplied the engine.
Yes. In 1947, Austin introduced the A40, its first new post-war family saloon. The 2-door version was known as the Dorset, after which county was the 4-door version named?
Devon.
Yes. What name was given to the original 1950 model of the Rover P4 because of the additional headlight in the centre of the grille?
Cyclops.
Correct. Which V8 introduced in 1947 was Ford's first new post-war model?
Pilot.
Correct. The White Lady was the prototype for the first production models made by which company, named after the brothers who founded it in 1934?
Jensen.
Yes. What name was coupled with Talbot in 1938 to produce upmarket versions of Hillmans and Humbers?
Sunbeam.
Yes. Which classic Jaguar sports car, whose name was inspired by the speed it could reach, was launched in October 1948?
Oh. Classic sports car. Well, oh, the XK120.
Correct. Which company's 1267cc engine replaced the Coventry Climax engine in the Morgan 4.4 when production of it recommenced after World War II?
There are several answers to that.
Give me one.
It's the standard.
Yes, that'll do. The series of... I've just started, so I shall finish. The series of models produced by Riley from about 1946 to 1955 were known by which 2 prefix initials?
RM.
RM is correct. You had 2 passes, Brian. The poached egg was the Morris Minor, and Laurie Bond designed that 3-wheeler minicar. Brian Sewell, yes. 2 passes. You have 12 points. So that's the end of the first round, the specialist subjects. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 7 points, Yvette. In joint 2nd place, 12 points apiece, Wayne and Brian. In the lead with 13 points, Spoony. So on with the general knowledge round, and let me ask Yvette to join us again, if she would please. And you will be known to many as a ghost hunter.
Yes, I do like to hunt the spirits of a night.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I believe that there's something out there. I kind of sit in the middle.
I think it's all nonsense myself.
I think I should take you down into a dark cellar, just me and you.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
You're on. Right, you have 7 points with your knowledge of Henry VIII, who did exist. We can agree on that. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. According to the legend of King Arthur, what was the name of his sword?
Excalibur.
It was. Which owl, distinguished by its white heart-shaped face, takes its name from the farm buildings in which it normally nests?
Snowy owl.
The barn owl. At what type of ceremonial occasion is part of Mendelssohn's incidental music to A Midsummer Night's Dream traditionally played?
The wedding march.
Yes. The Pedus was the name given by the Romans to which major Italian river?
No idea, sorry, pass.
Which 2 winter months did Tsar Nicholas I reportedly claim were his most reliable generals during the Crimean War?
January and March.
January and February. The dried underground stems of which member of the ginger family, native to parts of India, are used as a yellow dye and as a seasoning in curry powders and mustard pickles?
Pass.
Which famous conspirator and explosives expert was born in York in April 1570?
Guy Fawkes.
Yes. Which British girl group have had #1 singles with Push the Button and About You Now?
Oh, I know this one. 3 of them. Yes. For God's sakes. I know it.
Tell me.
Pass. I
Right.
forgot. Oh.
Monica Ali's debut novel about a Bangladeshi woman who moves to London was nominated for the 2003 Man Booker Prize. What was its title?
No idea.
Which prominent left-wing politician was MP for Chesterfield from 1984 to 2001?
Me.
Tony Benn. Cork for commercial use is obtained from the thick outer bark of a species of which tree?
Elm.
Oak. What name is given to the popular Chinese dish consisting of the upper part of the pork belly cut in narrow strips on the bone?
Sweet sour pork.
Spare ribs. In the British pop music industry, for what does MOBO stand?
It's black water. It's the music for black. Oh, pass.
In English pantomime, what name is given to a comic female role traditionally played by a man?
Dame.
Yes. Which 2 letters are used to designate male and female sex chromosomes?
Y and X.
Yes. Which crop was devastated by the fungus Phytophthora infestans? I'll finish the question if I'm capable. Phytophthora infestans, which caused a famine in Ireland that lasted from 1845 to 1849.
You'd be very impressed if I knew that, wouldn't you? But I don't.
You'll be cross when I tell you, because you do. It was the potato.
Oh!
Right, the other part is MOBO stands for Music of Black Origin. Monica Ali wrote Brick Lane. Sugar Babes.
That's it.
That's
See?
it. Turmeric is that spice that we were looking for, and the Padus is the River Po. 6 passes, Yvette. You have a total of 12 points.
Hey!
And now Wayne, please. So, choreographer, dancer, general man about town.
Oh, well, that's true.
Now, look, the thing about dancing is we're going through the most extraordinary period, aren't we? With
Yes.
all the dancing we're seeing on television. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, I think Billy Elliot had a lot to do with it.
And you've seen the new Billy Elliot.
Yes, he's only 9 years old, and I met him when I was in a show, and he came to the stage door. I said, well, dance for me now, and he was just incredible. And
Show me. What?
Show, well, you know, he was like, da, ya, da, ya, dee, da, 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 and he went on like this forever and ever. And he was just like so up and on. I went, my God. You know, and they said he's going to be the next me, and if I was like that when I was 9, I'd have been well pleased.
You have 12 points so far, which is a good score. 2 minutes starting now. Sea, brown and rainbow are common species of which fish?
Pass.
Which is the second largest of the Channel Islands after Jersey?
Guernsey.
Correct. Which Greek god is associated with the reed pipes or syrinx commonly named after him?
Pan.
Yes. What sort of animal is Sybil, named after Basil Fawlty's wife, who now lives in Downing Street with the Chancellor, Alistair Darling?
Oh, cat.
Yes. Which word is the traditional form of saying hello and goodbye in the Hawaiian Islands?
Hola.
Nearly. Aloha. Who stars as Marianne, the pregnant wife of the executed journalist Daniel Pearl in the film A Mighty Heart?
Oh, pass.
Which road runs for over 20 miles from downtown Los Angeles through Beverly Hills to Pacific Palisades?
Sunset Strip.
Sunset Boulevard.
Oh.
In November 2006, Sarah Mendes da Costa won a competition on children in need to succeed Brian Cobby as the voice of what?
No, sorry.
Which
Pass.
animal with its young is cut in half in Damien Hirst's controversial work Mother and Child Divided?
Cow.
Yes. Which Scottish entertainer's banana boots are on display at the People's Palace Museum in Glasgow?
Banana boots. Sorry, can you please...
Which Scottish entertainer's banana boots are on display at the People's Palace Museum in Glasgow?
Billy Connolly?
Yes, in July 2001, the Belgian Jacques Rogge succeeded Juan Antonio Samaran as president of which organisation?
Pass.
What was the name of 7 Egyptian queens, the last of whom died in August 30 BC?
Nefertiti?
Cleopatra.
Oh.
Which crime fiction writer created Sid Halley, the crippled former jockey turned private investigator?
Pass.
Which British dress designer is generally credited with the introduction of the miniskirt and hot pants?
Vivienne Westwood?
Mary Quant. The Alfonso, grown chiefly in India, is one of the most popular varieties of which tropical fruit with a large fibrous stone?
Avocado?
Mango. Which
Mango.
group did Chrissie Hynde form with 3 other musicians in 1978? Their name was inspired by a Platters hit of the 1950s.
Platters of the 1950s. Oh, ink spots.
The Pretenders. What it could be, the Pretenders. You had 5 passes. Dick Francis was that
yes.
crime writer. The International Olympic Committee was the one of which Jacques Rogge was president. The Speaking Clock was what she became the voice of. Angelina Jolie played the part of Marianne. And you have C. Brown and Rainbow Trout.
Trout.
Wait, 5 passes, a total of 17 points.
Thank you.
And now Brian Sewell, please. And it may surprise some people to know, Brian, that you, known as a great art expert and aesthete, are a sort of bit of a petrol head as well.
Oh, I think it's reasonable to argue that the great car is a work of art.
And what's the most beautiful car that's ever been made, do you think?
I would most like to have had a late Duesenberg, 1936, with chrome-covered exhausts coming out of both sides.
Oh,
of
I
the
know the
bonnet
one
and
you
down
mean.
the side.
Yeah,
of the
yeah. And does about 4 miles to the gallon, and your carbon footprint would now be criminal.
Yes, I'm now worried about my carbon footprint.
You are.
I only have a bath once a week.
Right. You have 12 points with your knowledge of British cars. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. Which radio programme has the signature tune By the Sleepy Lagoon, accompanied by seagulls?
I have no idea. Pass.
Whose designs include the R-100 airship, the Wellington bomber, and the famous bouncing bomb?
Oh, God. I've forgotten. Pass.
In Greek mythology, which city was attacked by 7 champions? The episode formed the title of a play by Aeschylus.
Thebes.
Yes. Which fashion magazine was first published in America in 1892 and in Britain in 1916?
Harper's Bazaar.
Vogue. Whose statue in Leicester Square, London, wearing his trademark bowler hat and carrying his walking stick, was unveiled in 1981 by Sir Ralph Richardson?
Charlie Chaplin.
Correct. Which country, along with Spain, Andorra and Gibraltar, makes up the Iberian Peninsula?
Portugal.
Correct. Who published the first edition of the almanac that bears his name in 1864, the year after he retired as a cricketer?
Whitaker.
Wisden. Which singer was born Farouk Bulsara in September 1946?
Pass.
Chateau d'Yquem is the most celebrated and expensive variety of which sweet white wine from Bordeaux?
Oh, God, I thought it was in Chateau d'Yquem. Is there a...
Yes, there is. I'll give it to you later. Which conductor of the BBC Dance Orchestra made a recording of the Teddy Bears Picnic that sold over 1 million copies?
I have no idea. Pass.
Which Finnish Formula One driver won the final Grand Prix of the 2007 season to overtake Britain's Lewis Hamilton and win his first World Drivers' Championship?
Hakkinen.
Raikkonen. Which disease, first identified in 1976, takes its name from a war veterans organisation in the United States?
Oh, pass again.
Who reluctantly resigned as leader of the Liberal Democrats in October 2007 after many negative comments about his age and leadership?
Ming Campbell.
Yes, the sequel to whose fictional diary is subtitled The Edge of Reason?
The Edge of Reason. No, pass.
What is the name of the first modern credit card issued in 1950 by Frank McNamara for use by 200 friends and acquaintances in the New York restaurants that he'd signed up to his scheme?
No idea.
Well, I can tell you it is the Diners Club card. The other passes. The Edge of Reason is the sequel to Bridget Jones' Diary. Legionnaire's Disease takes its name, etc. Henry Hall conducted the BBC Dance Orchestra. Sauterne. Chateau d'Yquem, Sauterne. Freddie Mercury was the singer born Farouk
You
Bulsara.
expected me to know that.
Well, there we are. Look, I have to say, I don't set the questions, I just ask them. Barnes Wallis designed the R100, bouncing bomb and so on, and you've been on it, I'm sure, Desert Island Discs has the Sleepy Lagoon. 7 passes. Brian, you have a total of 16 points. And finally, Spoony, please. And I have to say that it's unlikely you were born Spoony. Yeah?
No, it's a nickname given to me at primary school.
Because?
Because apparently my head was shaped like a spoon.
That's a bit unkind.
That's 6-year-olds for you.
Yeah, and it stuck with you all that?
Yeah, well, when I started DJing, it was a thing of you needed to have a DJ name, and it wasn't cool to go by the name you was christened with, so Everyone knew me as Spoony, so Spoony stuck.
You could have given yourself a more heroic name, really, couldn't you? But
Superman was taken.
right. You have 13 points at the moment. Spoony, the score to beat is 17. Let's see if you can do it with your general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. Temple Bar, famed for its narrow streets and lively nightlife, a popular tourist area in which European capital city?
London.
Dublin. Which politician was Secretary of State for Education in Edward Heath's government was known as Milk Snatcher?
Pass.
Which fictional boxer, played by Sylvester Stallone, has had the opponents Ivan Drago, Clubber Lang and Apollo Creed?
Rocky Balboa.
Yes, in the Trent Bridge Test match against India in July 2007, what type of sweets were controversially thrown into the crease when Zahir Khan came into bat?
Jelly babies.
No jelly beans. Which London rock club reopened in Upper St Martin's Lane in 2007, having originally started at 165 Oxford Street in 1958 before moving to a number of other venues over the intervening years?
Smolenski's.
The Marquee Club. Xiong Mao is the Chinese name for which rare animal?
Pass.
Which of Shakespeare's plays is mainly set in Elsinore Castle?
Twelfth Night.
Hamlet. Which record producer and rapper topped the UK singles chart in August 2007 with Stronger?
Kanye West.
Yes. In match play golf, what term is used when a player is leading by the number of holes left to play, so can do no worse than halve the match?
Dormy.
Yes. Which actress married the Indian businessman Arun Nair in the Cotswolds and again in a traditional ceremony in Jodhpur in India in March 2007?
Hugh Grant and... pass.
Which fictional hero shares his name with the author of Birds of the West Indies? The hero's creator had a copy of the book in his Jamaican home.
Pass.
Now being phased out because they're harmful to the ozone layer, CFC gases were used in which electrical items found in the kitchen?
Pass.
Eivissa is the Catalan name of which Mediterranean island?
Ibiza.
Yes. In which religion are there 5 precepts, 4 noble truths, and the 8-fold path which leads to nirvana?
Buddhism. Buddhism.
Buddhism is correct. You have 5 passes. CFC gases are in refrigerators. James Bond was the fictional hero I was after. It was Arun Nair and Elizabeth Hurley. Giant Panda is the Xiong Mao. Margaret Thatcher was Milk Snatcher. 5 passes. Spoony, you have 18 points. So, at the end of that very close contest, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 12 points, Yvette. In 3rd place with 16 points, Brian. In 2nd place with 17 points, Wayne. In 1st place with 18 points, Spoony. So, Spoony, you looked as if you didn't even know you'd won when I announced the score. What an honour.
It's an honour. I used to watch this programme as a kid and used to think it was a successful evening if I got one question right.
and now you're champion. Congratulations. Thank you all very much. Thank you for watching. Join us again for another Celebrity Mastermind. Good night.
More Celebrity Masterminds tomorrow at the same time. The police are upping the pressure next on BBC One, but Pat's got a plan in an hour-long EastEnders. And on BBC 4, The Time Tunnel begins an evening of sci-fi adventure celebrating the work of Irwin Allen.